Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today I'm going to be doing my mid-month wrap-up. I had a very limited mid-month wrap-up as I only read 5 books, but as I explained to you guys in my mental health video, I'll link it up in the cards. I've got a lot going on, so I'm kind of in and out of focus and trying to just maintain a pretty even-keeled emotional state. So sometimes reading helps, sometimes it doesn't, and in this case it's been helpful but slower. So I'm not too unexcited about that. I think it's actually quite fair, so I'm not bummed. I've got 5 books here. None of them I disliked, but they're still going to go in order of least to most enjoyed regardless. So let's begin with Beauty Queens by Libba Bray. This one was quite the satire. I am very happy with this book. I'm very happy to have read it. I really enjoyed it. Libba Bray as an author is not someone I'm going to go out and try and find a ton of work from. I know she has quite a lot of work, but this is really the only one that has left me feeling like I enjoyed her plot focus. I read A Great and Terrible Beauty, and I read it when I was in high school, and I really liked it. And then I read it again when I was older, and I just didn't think it held up. So this one really made me quite happy. I was really amused by this. So this is one of those almost reality TV, coming of age, crazy, insane, semi-dramatic stories. It is the story of a group of beauty queens that are in a plane crash, and when they crash, they are left with fewer girls because of death and less pilots and people to take care of them as well. So they are left to their own devices. It is really funny, really interesting, and very fun. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to people who really enjoy kind of overcoming the ideas of physical beauty being the only attribute, or kindness being the only way, or, well, it's not kindness, it's a false kindness. It's trying to go for the miscongeniality type rather than just being yourself. It was a really interesting story, and one of the narrators, or the narrator, is really conflicted feeling about this whole pageant thing anyway. She's not really one who wants to be in it entirely. She feels a little bit used for her beauty, and it's just really interesting to focus on. I really enjoyed it, and I would highly recommend. Then we have Shout by Laura Halse Anderson. This was read on a day when I was just feeling really low, and I felt like I was not being heard, or at least I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody. It's not that I don't have support, I really do. It's just my subjects are really intense, and I kind of obsess over my subjects, and so I don't want to keep pestering people with the same subjects over and over again. And so this was kind of an outlet. This is Laura Halse Anderson's memoir after her rape. She was raped around the same age as her character in Speak was, and she had a similar response, which was silence. This is her finding her voice and her place in the world, and understanding that it was never her fault, and understanding that it's okay to trust people and men. Really coming full circle and finding herself. It was really good, really interesting. I really loved it. I would definitely recommend this to people who like Speak, as well as people who are interested in memoirs of sexual assault. It's a very specific brand of memoir, though. It's really not for those who are not interested in seeing that point of view. If you are someone who finds the subject rape uncomfortable, or finds the subject of rape too much, this is not going to be the book for you. It's really blunt and honest about the feelings and emotions that come along with it, and there's a lot of intenseness to it. So I really appreciated it, and I would recommend it. Then I did a reread, well, 2 rereads this month, but one of them was Fingersmith. This one took me a couple of days to get through. It always takes me a couple of days to get through this one just because it's such a chunker. But I really love this book. This is the story of, what is her name? Sue, and she is a pickpocket, and she ends up getting meshed up with a guy who is also a friend of the pickpockets, and he brings her to a woman's house with the intent to steal her fortune. And then there are all sorts of twists and turns, and it's kind of crazy, and it's the 1800s, it's 1862 to be exact, London, and it's a really great Victorian setting, and it's a lot of fun. I've done a review on this. If I can find it, I will link it up in the cards, but I really enjoy this. It's always a 5-star, and I would recommend it. My other reread was Rebecca, which I read in a day. I've read this in a day like 2 or 3 times. I think from what I understand, I've read it every year. It was either this one or Fingersmith that I've read every year for the past 4 years. Why? I don't know, but it just seems to be one of those things. This is the story of an unnamed narrator who falls in love with Max de Winter, and they end up getting married, and she goes back to his house, Manderley, and things are not as they seem, and the staff and the rest of the world in that environment all miss his dead wife Rebecca, and she's living in Rebecca's shadow, and she doesn't understand anything that's going on, and there's all sorts of intrigue and secrets and lies amidst everything, and it is just really intense and really beautiful. I really love it, and I would highly recommend it. It's one of my all-time favorite books. So is Fingersmith. This, though, I have a full review of, which I will link up in the cards. This is Rabbits for Food by Binnie Kirschenbaum. This is incredible. This is my favorite book of the year. If it gets pushed out, I'm going to be shocked. I am super happy that this is my book of the year because it is right on brand. It is right on brand for me, and it is the story of a girl who is in the midst of a meltdown or of a mental breakdown, and it goes between her in the past when she's kind of spiraling out of control and her in a mental hospital. So yes, I really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I would highly recommend it. It was my favorite book of the month. If you're interested in learning more about it, there will be the review that I already linked up in the cards. So you just click the info circle and it will give you the link to get there. I really loved it. All right, so those are the books that I've read so far this month. I'm very happy with them. If you have any questions, comments, or quandaries, go ahead and leave them in the comment box down below. Thank you so much to my Patreons. I love you all. I will see you in my next video, and I'll talk to you there. Bye.